Hello everyone, welcome back to ThinkInCode, and today we're going to talk about input and output in Python. First of all, let's understand what input is. Input is computer listening to the data you give. Any kind of data you provide to the internet or to the computer is input. So output basically is computer speaking or the computer giving you the desired outcome after receiving that input. Those are the two things. It's very simple, and we're going to learn how we are going to give an input to the computer using Python and how to get an output after processing it. So let's start with how to get an output. So we can start it by using the most basics of the print statement. Print hello world. Print 1, 2, 3, print 3.14, and print true. This is a basic print, and you will get everything you have written here as it is. And if we run this code, you can see hello world 1, 2, 3, 3.14, and true. So that's how you use basic print. Now, what if we want to print multiple values all at once? So usually Python will automatically add the spaces between them. For example, let's say print, we have a string, hard-coded string as print is and 20. So now we are printing two things. We are printing a string and a 20, and that's multiple values, right? And another thing would be print, let's say pi equals to 3.14, and then we're gonna use another string value. This is us printing multiple values. As you can see, if I print it, Python automatically assumes that there is a space if we have a comma here. So that's how we print multiple values. Now, let's suppose we have something like a date. Let's say 2026 02 20. Now, like we said, Python thinks this is equals to space, right? But what if we don't want a space? Like you can see in a date, if we run this, we get a date like this. This looks pretty gross. So I want to make it better. So that's when we use separators. To use separators, what we are going to do is write a keyword sep, then equals to, and for every space, I want a slash. That's what I want. Let's see. It replaced all the spaces with a slash. Now, instead of slash, we do dashes here. So let's do the dashes. See, we got the dashes. So that's how you use separators in Python to print. Now, usually what happens is if I say print hello world, then this will print the normal hello world. Now, if I do this hello and then print world, so what we got here was they are in two lines, right? It's separated in two lines, but what I want to do is put it in the same line. That's when we use end. So if we go to the hello world's end, and then I add a keyword end, and what do I want this statement to end with? A space, not a new line, a space. So if we print that, we get it in the same line as the above. So the end parameter and controls what appears after the print statement. And when you don't have anything like this one, when you don't have anything like this, the default is always a new line. That being said, it will always go to a next line. So that's why we have a space here. If we end it with something like end and equals to space, we don't have a extra line here now. So that's how you use end parameters. Now, for example, let's make a progress bar, okay? What we're going to do is print loading and print dot, and we're going to copy this and paste and paste and paste and paste. And this is loading, right? If we print it normally, it's going to be like, okay, that's horrible. So what we can do here is add a n equals to space. So this is what we did. We added n to all of the print statements, so it's easier for us, and it makes it look better, not like this. So let's remove this and run this. Now this is better. I hope you understood that. Moving on, we have escape characters. So these are the escape characters. So what do we use this? How do we use this normally? So let's look at some examples. Okay, first off, let's print hello world. As you can see, it will print the normal stuff. But what I want this time is I want the world to be on the second line. So instead of writing a new print line, what I can do here is just n this new line. New world, hello world, and world should be in the new line. So if I print it, as you can see, hello world, world is in the new line. And this is nowhere to be seen here. So they will think this is escape character. So it will do what its functionalities are. Now next, let's say print, we have name, and name is John. As you can see, if we print this, and this is pretty good, okay. But what if I want this to be in the same without this comma and this? So if I do this, as you can see, new John looks pretty bad. So what we can do here is slash t. Now it will create a tab space here, as you can see. So for example, let's do this. And if I do this and tab, so this is the equivalent space the tab will create. Now next is double quotation. So print, he said hi. Okay. So he said hi. So hi should be highlighted, right? So for this, we are going to use double quotations. So we are going to do backslash, double quotations, backslash, double quotations. As you can see, this is highlighted as hi. So that's how you do double quotes. Backslash is just letting you know that you need to use any kind of escape characters. You need to use backslash first and the number or the letter or the symbol, right? That's all for escape characters. So, okay, what we're going to talk about next is formatters or string formatters and decimal formatter. So first, let's start with the string formatter or F string, one of the most important way to print things. It's the modern and clean way to insert a variable into text. So for example, name equals to Alex and we have age equals to 21 and we want to print this. What we can do is print name, print is. This is a good way to print this, right? Printing the variables, pretty good, right? But what I want to do is make sense out of this information. So what we can do is print F string. We gotta use F for string formatters. Now, what we'll say is my name is and curly brackets and name. Whenever you are writing a variable inside a F string, you need to use curly brackets. That way, it will know that this particular thing is a variable and outside it, it's all string, hardcoded string. And I am 8 years old. Now, if I print this, my name is Alex and I am 21 years old. As you can see, this is how you can print a lot of stuff and easily. Now, moving on to decimal formatter. Decimal formatter controls the decimal places. It's useful for money, marks, and etc. Let's say pi equals to 3.14159 and we have price equals to 99.45678. Now this, we have this, but we don't want to print this because this will look ugly. So what we're going to do is print pi, f string pi, and then pi dot pi semicolon dot 3f. I'm going to talk about 3f right now. First, let's print the both print price. And now for the price, we're just going to use 2f. So as you can see here, we have this, right? If I print it, you can see the pi only got 3 characters out of it and increased the third character. And in the 99.46 as well, we did the same thing. 0.3f means so only 3 numbers after the point. Now this means only 2 numbers after the point. So that's how we use decimal formatter. And this is how we use F string or a string formatter. So next is alignments. So usually alignment is useful for tables. So let's try this. Print F. Let's start with this and then add items. And then what we're going to do is 10. So this is how we use align. Let me give you an example. This is left align. This is right align. And finally, this is center align. So we are going to do align by 10 spaces and then we are going to do price by 10. So price align right by 10. We're going to copy this and we're going to paste it here. And this time we're just going to change this to apples and price being 20. Let's change it to integer. So now let's try and print it. As you can see, we got that space here, 20 and 10 spaces. This is like 10 character space alignment. So that's what we did here. Now we are going to learn about printing same thing like a multiple of times. Okay. So let's say print, I want this design, right? I want this design, but every time I do this, it's going to take a long time. So what I can do is print dash and maybe into 50 times. I want a really long one. So what happened was this is the above this one first, right? And what we did was told Python to loop this 50 times and make me 50 of dashes. And that's what Python did. Or we can just do print hi and I want this 3 times. And if I print it, see hi hi hi. And we can do this space and it will give you a space hi hi hi. So that's how you can print same thing multiple of times. Next, we have raw string is usually used for file paths while we are handling file paths or when we want to ignore the escape characters. So how do we initiate a escape character? We want backslash, right? To initiate the escape characters. So when we want to ignore this backslash, that's when we use raw. So if I do this without the raw r, right, or raw string, what I can do is C users. Now, as you can see this, when I'm doing print without the R, the Python is going to assume these are escape characters and we don't want that. And if we print it, we are going to get an error. See, we're getting an error. So what we need to do here, right in front of the string, we are going to add a R. Now, if you print it, it's going to assume this is a raw string and it's just going to print the file path. And that's what we want. So that was raw string. Now, this is basically print statement. Now, moving on to input, looking at print statements, input are like a whole level easier. So if you just do name equals input, please enter your name. Now, that's it. Okay, first, before running that, I'm going to change this to name, right? So we know what we are printing. So stop and rerun. So I want to write think in code. Now print ThinkInCode. See, this is how easy it's to take input. Every time you take an input like this, it's saved in string. If you want to do something like number 1 equals to input, enter your number 1 and enter your number 2, and then we're going to do something like let's add them some number 1 plus number 2 and print. Okay, so what do you think the output will be? Yeah, print think, and then we have number 1 is 30, and then we have 20, and you can see it's called 20, 30. So it's concatenating, it's not adding. So what's the use of this? And in a situation like this, we use something like typecasting. So what does this do is give input its type. What data type are we going to take in this input? For example, this we want string, so we are going to leave it as it is. But for this, we want an int. So what we're going to do is int. And for this as well, I want an int. So it's simple. Just cover the whole input statement on a round bracket and then write whatever data type you want it to be. So print name equals to think, and then enter your first name, 20, number, and second number, 20. Now we go 50. So it worked. Now we can do different things here. We can do like price equals to float input, enter your price. Now if we enter your price and we print price, as you can see, we are going to get a price to add 1.14. Now that's a price. You can add points. Now what if you don't have the right type here? So let's assume we have int here, right? And we have is instead of your price, is and is. Now we are going into a error zone. So this is the most common error you are going to have when you are using input. Let's say you're 20. So instead of writing 20, you write 20. And we get a value error. Invalid literal for int with base 10, 20. It means you are casting it as an int, but you're giving me a string. That does not work out like that. So that's what the Python system is saying. Well, this is the same thing if you add something like 20.10, and if we enter it and see value error and valid and best because we are giving it a float. So, but if we just give it 20, voila, it runs. So that's input and print in a nutshell. So I hope you understood it. If you want to practice more of this, you can visit the PDF I've given down below. I have cheat sheet ready for you and some practice questions you can practice. And next time I'm going to do one of the practice questions or one of the different kind of project to help you understand input and output in Python more. So stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Keep coding.